The best coverage of the top stories in sports. The Sports Wrap with Jason Page starts now.
Indeed it does, and good to have you with us on this Thursday edition of the show. Got a lot to do over the next 60 minutes. Much of that will be spent with our guest in the first segment, which I'll get to in just a moment. The Lakers have been sold. We'll get into that. I Can't Drive 55, the Zach Edey, Shedeur Sanders version coming up. See, now our guest on the show, David Aardsma, will get that reference. Sam Yarnell might not. See, he doesn't. See, you get the reference, Aardsma. No.
Yes.
He gets it. No. The Red Rocket, Sammy Hagar. I Can't Drive 55. Sam Yarnell, completely lost on him because he's 12 years old. I can't do it. But I can't kill Edey and Shedeur Sanders for driving 100 miles an hour when I've done it myself. I don't admit that with like any source of pride. I like to drive fast.
Have you ever done it in Cleveland?
I don't think I've done it in Cleveland. I don't think I've done it in Cleveland. And I'm not sure if I've ever done it on like a 55. So David Aardsma is hanging out with us, and he's been so gracious. Last week, where were you when I talked to you last week? You were in like the middle of nowhere. Were you in Boston?
We were in Boston.
You were in Boston. All right, you weren't in the middle of nowhere. So he's on.
Yeah, the middle of nowhere, Boston.
No, well, because
Massachusetts.
then he went to Cooperstown. That's why, which is the middle of nowhere. So I had David on last week. We were both on the road last week. I was in Connecticut and he was in Boston. Now this week he's in Chicago. So he's doing like the family vacation thing. First of all, I at first I was like, I feel bad that we're having David on the show while he's on vacation. Then I'm like, wait a second. He's on vacation with the family. He's dying to come on with us because he wants to get away from the family for a few minutes, right?
I want to see Sammy. That's really what it is.
Oh God, don't feed his ego. Please don't feed his ego. Come on. And by the way, we were talking off the air about people who would call you and spend an hour and a half on the phone with you. He would be that guy. So see,
He's a talker. I love it.
He's definitely a talker. And he'd ask you every question that you never wanted to be asked.
About Paul Skeens.
And which glasses and underwear, what was your underwear of preference when you were playing in the big leagues? So, boy, we've just spent the first 2.5 minutes of the show hammering Sam. It's great. So Sam wants to talk about Rafael Devers, which we'll get to in just a second. We got to get into this whole thing. So when we talked last week, you had just come from Fenway. You'd been met up with Craig Breslow. You had seen him. Well, you'd seen him. I won't say met up with him. It wasn't like you had a confab or anything, but you had talked to Craig Breslow. Give me some sense of your level of shock when you heard about the Devers deal, because I haven't talked to you since the Devers deal took place.
I don't know how many people are shocked in general that there was a trade. I think that we're probably shocked that it happened in early June and not closer to deadline or not some other time. It blew my mind that this happened so quickly. And you hadn't heard anything. You hadn't heard that they're shopping, and there had been no leaks. How often with a player like this on this level that you hear leaks constantly? You hear like, oh, they're shopping, especially usually from the players' management, the players' side. They're leaking something just to kind of get the news out there. This shocked me. The deal itself shocked me, but probably the best thing for the Red Sox. For the Red Sox perspective, for both teams' perspective, I think this was a great trade. Personally, I think this is a great move. Red Sox needed to move him. Devers needs a new place. It's going to be great for him out in San Francisco. But from the Giants' perspective, you're getting the possibility of a top 10 player in the league on your roster.
But you've moved. But hold on. You've moved now 2 transformative stars. I mean, you've let Mookie Betts go. You've let this guy go. I mean, there has to be something said for this organization, this franchise, now doing this twice with 2 guys that are, we're talking about 2 future Hall of Fame players, David.
And don't forget Bogarts too. Yeah. Not bringing him back and they chose. Again, this wasn't Breslow, but they chose Devers over Bogarts.
Sam, can you make that face one? Sam, can you make that face one more time for me? Because
that was Xander Bogaerts is hitting 227. I don't think it was necessarily a bad move to let him walk face.
Without a doubt. Now, without a doubt, wasn't the worst move in the world, but it's not like Devers is going out there and is the world beater either. But they chose, that was the choice they made. They said Devers is our guy. Devers is our long-term guy. Bogarts, thank you very much, but no thank you. And so when you make that choice, comes with it some responsibility that you're going to that's your dude. This is your number one. He is the leader. He is the franchise, and this is where we're going. And as far as we've been heard, everything that Craig Breslow has done has kind of missed the target with Devers particularly. He's kind of hit the target with a lot of other guys, but he's missed it with him almost with every single shot. And now I'm starting to wonder, is that Craig Breslow or is that Rafael Devers not wanting to hear any of it either?
So, David, what I wanted to ask you about with regard to this whole Red Sox story is kind of the front office. Obviously, you're familiar with the team. You played there in the late 2000s. And you and Craig Breslow, actually, I looked into it. You guys kind of chased each other around the major leagues. You were never teammates, but you were like always in kind of the same division. You played for Boston like 2 years apart. And then you were out in the AL West together for years. But I'm curious because the stories that have been coming out around this Red Sox front office with the AI interviews through 5 rounds of interviews to get a front office position and just kind of the general sentiment. We talked about all the trades they've made. The fan base is clearly up in arms with this front office. How do you kind of view the outlook for all the people working in management for the Red Sox?
So 5 rounds of interviews is not that absurd when you're talking with teams. When we did it with the Blue Jays, you went through a gauntlet of interviews, and one day we would generally you would have to sit down with 5-6 different interviews in one day with us, and that's and we usually did 2 rounds just to even get to that point. So it's not crazy, and I'll give Craig Breslow this: he will be on the cutting edge of stuff. That's the most intelligent guy I had ever been around, and I've been around a lot of pretty smart people. So he might be a little early on his timing on this, but I've got no issue with what he's doing with that. Somebody has to make the change, and he might just be the first one. He might take the bullet for it, but someone has to make change. Nobody cares about any of this if they're not in 4th place. And that's it. And now you're trading your superstar, the dude that will get you to that 1st place. That's the only thing these people care about, especially Red Sox fans. If they were sitting in Tampa Bay's position in 2nd place and going to the playoffs, no one would be talking about it.
David Aardsma is our guest. We're going to we're going to have him back, coming back with us. Don't go anywhere. Lots more to do on SportsWrap. We keep the conversation going on this Thursday edition of SportsWrap. If it is a Thursday, David Aardsma is hanging out with us on the show. Former big league reliever. Man who knows a thing or two about interviewing for big league jobs, apparently, as we were just talking about in the last segment as well. Not fun, huh? It's a big pressure cooker, huh?
Pressure cooker, and it is stressful. You're not prepared for it, but it's easy. It's generally with people though, if you've been involved in baseball enough. Right. So every time you sit down, you're like, oh, I know you. Like, hey, we played together. Neat story, though. Craig Breslow, I think I was the last person he worked for. And when he played baseball, I was with the Blue Jays, and we had signed him. And we had worked together straight for about a month because it was kind of a project. And so I was the pitching coordinator or coordinator of player development. And he was kind of cool. We were learning about Rapsodo and Edgertronic cameras together on him as he was pitching. And now that's just a standard process in baseball. But back then, that was the cutting edge.
Talk about this from the Giants' perspective for a moment. This is a team that's chased the big name free agent and hasn't been able to get him. And now they got him via trade, basically, in Devers. Buster Posey is a guy that came in, and a lot of people were excited when he came in to sort of run the day-to-day operations of this team. This is a big land for him. And we were talking about it yesterday on the show, Sam and I, in terms of the arms race that is the National League West, this is a big blow landed by the Giants here.
It's a big blow, and it's something they needed to get over that hump of Padres, Dodgers, even at times Diamondbacks. Diamondbacks weren't playing as well, but they had the superstar advantage over the Giants. So this gets them that bona fide superstar. Willie Adames was a great move. Everybody loved it, but this is a different level. And yes, they were not able to find him on free agency. No one was wanting to go there. This is that move. It was great. They did have to sacrifice basically their rotation and prospects. But I don't see the players that they sacrificed as being game changers either. Just not like Jordan Hicks was going out there and pitching lights out.
Right.
Kyle Harrison wasn't doing all that great. And so I don't mind either one of these moves. It's just that they gave up on youth, and that's will usually bite you in the end. But they also got the years on Rafi. That's the thing. They get the years. Usually when you're making this move and you're telling them don't do it, it's because they're getting a rental player. This is a locked-in player for, whatever the rest on his contract. And in this day and age where he doesn't have to sit at third base and make error after error, he can be DH all the time. It's a great move.
David, elsewhere in the National League, man, the Mets are struggling. And they've got some injuries to deal with, too. We'll get to that in a second. But last night, they lose to Chris Sale and the Braves. Sale goes 8 2/3 in another outing in what has been a dominant season for him. What have you seen out of Sale this late in his career, especially in Atlanta, that he's been able to revamp to make him such an effective pitcher? Obviously, a Cy Young winner.
What's happening? Where's the old guys get this energy from? Because I want to go home. I want to go to sleep. And he's out here just killing it. I work out once a day, and I'm like, I'm done. I love it. Atlanta has been the fountain of youth for Chris Sale. But we also saw that at the very end of the season 2 years ago with Red Sox. He was starting to turn it on. I think what we're doing is we're looking at Chris Sale and still thinking we're seeing that guy that was struggling with the Red Sox. That was just a little, just nothing of his former self. And now he feels good, feels healthy. That's really what it is. At the end, he has to be healthy. And he's been healthy. He pitched his lights out last year, and he's just continuing what he's doing with what it is. What I'm seeing is a guy that's aggressive in the zone with his stuff. And we hadn't seen that before. It seemed like he was always pitching around guys, always pitching like he was almost hurt. And now he's being aggressive again. And that's what we used to love about Chris Sale. He would just throw that fastball right through the zone and then throw the nasty slider and change up off of it. Now we're seeing a guy that's like that again.
Talk to me about the Yankees. Talk me off the ledge on the fact that, that Aaron Boone's got to go. I mean, this team's lost 6 in a row. They can't score any runs. He can't manage his way out of a paper bag. Explain to me why every June we go through this with the Yankees, it feels like.
Every June you go through this usually with great teams. This is okay. You can be okay with a streak. Now, you don't want to have a losing 3 in a row, which would be normally 2 sweeps in a row from Boston and the Angels. But they're playing one more against the Angels, which they'll probably win. Then they'll go right to Baltimore, probably win. But you want to have these times. These are the things you kind of look
Sam.
for.
My reaction too, Sam. Me too. # me too.
You want to look for these things. They're also not getting blown out of these games. It's 2-1, 4-3, 2-0, 1-0, 4-0, 3-2. So they're not blowing out, but you want to get your butt kicked a little bit mid-year to create a better team, because sometimes you get complacent. They were killing it. They were playing great baseball. They were coming off a sweep with the Royals. They had a decent series in Boston against Boston, even though they lost 2 out of 3. But they're a good team, and good teams need to have bad times to get motivated again, to get going. There's no reason to get rid of Boone when he's the one that probably got him in this place in the first place.
Yeah, and we've seen Aaron Judge have bad months before, and he always bounces back from them. The real struggling team in New York is the Mets, David. Senga's hurt. He's going to be down, they're talking about more than a month for this guy. Montas and Minaya coming back, but injuries to go around for the Mets, a team that's relied on their rotation. How do you feel about New York in a dangerous NL East?
And that's what I'm a lot more worried about, is when you're looking at the Phillies and they're knocking on the door. I know the Braves are 11 games out, so that's not realistic. But again, we've seen in the past, June is very friendly, and June and July are very friendly for the Braves. And 2
And
years
not
ago,
for the Mets, right?
yes, and not for the Mets. And that's a different, and the difference here is injuries. And when you're seeing that up and down, when you're relying on pitching and a pitching staff that you're kind of looking at man for man, going like, how are they doing this? That's what gets you worried about this team, even though that lineup, God, that lineup is still great. It's just a pitching staff. When one part of your entire team is basically going down at one time, that's when you get worried, especially when you have a team that's really good nipping on their heels.
By the way, I think they're loving that Javi Baez, Trevor Williams for Pete Crow Armstrong deal right now in New York. I think they're loving that deal right now. How's that working out for you, Mets fans?
They might take Javi Baez, though. They might take him for some reason.
Come on.
Take him back right now.
Pete Crow Armstrong.
Pete Crow.
PCA is the
Pete
story.
Crow Armstrong is a different player, and he's a different guy.
He's 20. He's basically 2020 already.
Yes, there's probably somebody in the Mets organization that was screaming, "Don't do this trade," and no one listened to him.
David's on vacation, so we're going to actually hold him for one more segment. We're coming back. All right, one more segment of baseball with David Aardsma because it's a Thursday, and why not? Hockey's done. Game 6 of the NBA Finals is Thursday night. This is Thursday day, so why not talk baseball today? And guess what? The next time we talk to David Aardsma, there will be no more NBA Finals to talk about, which means we are free and clear on baseball for the rest of the summer. David Aardsma. David, do you watch the College Baseball World Series? Because I know Sam's a big fan of it. Are you big into watching the College Baseball World Series?
There are years I am. There's times I am. Right now, I wasn't because I've been traveling. Yeah. Sat in a car for the last how many days driving across the country, but I'm usually always paying attention. I love it. I've been watching Arkansas and that run and the no-hitter, and then obviously LSU beating them. Was it last night? Yes, it was last night.
Was that no-hitter? Was that no-hitter when you think about all-time great performances? That no-hitter, where do you put it?
You have to, amongst college, it has to be. I haven't heard of a no-hitter. Has there ever been there's never been a no-hitter.
1960 was the last one. 1960.
It's the pressure of Omaha and being there and me being there 2 years in a row with Rice and winning it in 2003. That pressure in that stadium and everything is unheard of. It's amazing at that age. Now, there's guys that obviously do this in the big leagues, but you're getting a paycheck to do it. When you're doing it and it just feels different in college. I'll tell you this story is pretty cool. 2003, we're playing Southwest Missouri State, which I think is just Missouri State now. A team with Brad Ziegler and Sean Markham on. And we didn't know them at the time. No one knew who they were going to be. But our Jeff Neiman, who ends up being 8th pick overall by the Rays, gives up a first inning single, but it comes back to him and he bobbles it. Goes no hit all the way to the 9th, and then ended up giving up leadoff home run on the first pitch in the 9th. Second pitch is a home run, so now it's like 4-2. And I hadn't even thrown like 3 pitches, and I'm coming in that ball game, and let's go! And that's how we started off our College World Series run in 2003. And I ended up getting the 3 outs, but that was. I've never heard a place like that go so crazy so quick.
Talk to me about the Tampa Bay Rays here for a few minutes. Nobody could envision this team being 41-33 through the first 74 games, but here they are. I know there's talk about the team being sold, and that's another topic for another time. But just talk about from an on-the-field standpoint what this organization continues to do.
Is it time yet? Can we never bet against Kevin Cash? Can we never what he is doing?
He came back down 8 runs last night.
It's this team is being put together. They find a way when we talk about culture. They find a way to do it different, to take players that no one else would expect, to build teams that you're looking at going like, if they could be decent, but they're constantly finding that place. They're constantly putting these teams together and finding people's abilities that fit perfect in this team, and they have something. There is something that they put in that water that no one else has, and they're able to do things that consistently. Now they always struggle to get to that second point, and that's another conversation for another day. But this is, like the A's have had the problem, but they're not having the lulls like the A's have. They're having the highs without the lulls. And this is incredible what this organization is able to do. And then they go out there and play against, again, a poor Orioles team this year, and they're down 8-0 in the second inning and put up 12. Where is this team? I saw them in Boston. You can tell they're well put together, well coached, or they're well coached, but they are feisty, and they will beat you in every way possible. If they need to go homer for homer, they'll go for it. If it's 1-0, they can pitch out. And it's amazing that they don't even have some of their superstars right now, and they're still able to do this.
We mocked the AL East, by the way, guys. 4 of the teams are over 500 now. And all of a sudden, that division doesn't look as bad, as craptastic as it once did. Go ahead, Sam.
The basement of it, though, is horrible. Obviously, the losing end of that game that you mentioned last night, David, the Baltimore Orioles, they couldn't hit water if they were standing on a boat right now. It feels like every move that this franchise makes is the incorrect one. At this point, what can they do to try and salvage what's left of the season, or do they have to just sell off everything?
This is the point where you're looking at 2026. It's done. It's done. And even if you can make the playoffs in 2025 with what this team is and how you build it, do not sacrifice 26 for 25. Do not, under any circumstances. Now, I think Mike Elias has shown us very clearly he's unwilling to move anything for any winning season at any point in time. So I'm not worried about sacrificing next year for this year. But a lot of teams would probably do that, would sacrifice the house and for short-term trades. They need to look at 2026 and say, who's the player, who's the manager on this team, who's my studs, what am I going to do? This would be the Devers trade. This should have been it. Like, this is the perfect place for it. These are the types of moves that you look at and go, why aren't they involved? Why aren't they out there getting free agents, big time free agents? Why aren't they out there making some of these moves? And so I look at 2026, say this has to be our year. 2027 you have to win a championship in 27. So build that team for that. So make a trade now for the long run. Look at free agents now in the offseason and say November 1st, they're signing them. Like, they do not wait on these things. And you have to build that team because you got a lot of young superstars, and now you're starting to see everything flounder and seeing the water rise without the boat rising with it.
You talked about 26. Does Verlander pitch then? This is last year.
I think this is it. I think this is it. When you're looking at winless and you're going out there and you're not seeing the stuff, you're not feeling it. It's on your heart. You can tell when the ball's coming out, he's not beating hitters the same way. He's not able to do the things in the past that he's done, and that's when you know. Plus, you're seeing little ticky-tacky injuries and stuff. He hasn't pitched in a month, came back and like 4 2/3, seven hits and 3 runs. It wasn't a bad outing. Again, but it wasn't superstar Justin Verlander, what he feels like he can do. And so there's always that season where you're starting to see this, where the brain starts to match the arm. And the arm, and the brain's starting to realize it's not coming out the same. When the arm's been screaming it, probably. The body's been screaming, this is not the same, Justin. But your brain tells you, no. This tweak here. If I focus there, I can do it.
That's David Aardsma. Kind enough to join us on his family vacation. He's the Clark W. Griswold of his family. Appreciate it, my friend. Hey, have a safe trip back to Arizona. Say hi to the family. We'll talk to you soon.
Oh, thank you.
Coming up in 10 minutes, the price of buying an NBA team just went up. Wait until you hear how much the Los Angeles Lakers sold for, or are selling for. And guess who's buying them? We live in that era of sports, folks. We'll get into it coming up. Sam Yarnell, Do you like to drive fast, Sam Yarnell? Tell the truth. Let's just pretend you and I are talking.
No, for a couple of reasons. So for a peek behind the curtain to the viewers, my first car was gifted to me from my grandmother. Well, from my aunt via my grandmother, is a 2006 Subaru Outback that I eventually blew the transmission on. I don't think the top speed of that car was over 75 miles an hour. My next car after that, I inherited from my grandfather. Somehow it was older. It was a 2004 Ford Ranger. Wow. It had crank windows and was stick shift. I drove that car straight into the ground. Great little pickup truck, though. Again, top speed, maybe 77 in like high gear driving down the highway. But then again, when you got up to a certain speed on that thing, the whole cab started to shake like this. So you were just rattling down the road at 78 miles an hour at that point. And then I finally bought my own first car once I got a real job and became an actual adult. And when I did, I subsequently had to pay for my own insurance. Now, being a younger man in America, generally insurance rates are pretty high, especially when you buy a car. So what my insurance company did, those wonderful, lovely people, is they offered me a small discount if I downloaded an app onto my phone.
Oh, you didn't do that. You
tracks
did
my
that?
driving.
No, you did not do that.
I can't speed too fast, Jason.
Oh my God.
My insurance rates will go through the roof.
That is so intrusive. I would never in a million years. I mean, if you even jam brake with that thing, it knows it. Forget. No. Nope, no chance.
If I told you what the number difference was in my insurance rates, you'd be downloading it already.
All right. I still don't think I would, because then I wouldn't even be able to enjoy driving. I wouldn't even be able to enjoy driving. It would be so stressful. Because every time
I got a bike, it's very useful.
Every time I would pump the brakes, I would be worried that my insurance was going up like $5. I'd literally see it go cha-ching. Like you'd hear the app on the phone just go cha-ching. That's the insurance probably going to go up for Shedeur Sanders and Zach Edey. That's the point here. Because both of them got busted for going over 100 miles an hour with their automobiles. And in the case of Sanders, it's a bigger deal because you got a guy who's already trying to gain the confidence of this Browns organization as a late round draft pick in this year's NFL draft. And this isn't going to help, Sam. I mean, there's no getting around it, fairly or unfairly, because look, all of us speed. And well, except you, because you got the intrusive app from unsaid insurance company on your phone. I mean, look, and this is why I can't come down too hard on the kid, because I'm double his age, more than double his age, and I've got a lead foot, so I'm the last person to criticize somebody for speeding. But I'm also not trying to become the starting quarterback of an NFL team, which is a position based on trust. It's a position based on responsibility. And Shedeur Sanders, getting busted for driving 101 miles an hour in a posted 60 mile an hour zone is not going to help him in that regard.
Yeah, you're exactly right. There's so many things, right? Like, you've got to understand. I also don't understand how you, Shedeur Sanders, haven't gotten to a point in your life being as much as you were for Jackson State and everything you were to the University of Colorado. I don't understand how you get to that point without kind of understanding that I'm in the public spotlight with everything I do. So, like, you just have to have that level of integrity to do the right thing at all times, just because, especially in 2025, there's a good chance someone's always watching. Listen, everybody speeds, right? Not everybody speeds 50 miles per hour over 40 miles per hour over the speed limit. Like, on any scale, that's ridiculous. Going 65 in a 25, going 75 in a 35, 85 in a... Go down the list, right? It's not acceptable, really, for anybody, let alone somebody, again, who's in the public spotlight. I will say credit to the kid, though. Like, I saw the body cam footage. He handled himself really well. And, like, it seemed like he knew that he messed up. My guess is, honestly, and this is the most like frustrating thing, my guess is he was doing something for the Browns or to make himself a better quarterback, whether that be spending a late night at the facility studying tape or reviewing notes or going through a late night walkthrough with a coach. And he just wanted to get home and was tired. That's the most unfortunate part in all of this, is that it's developed into this whole big story around him. But again, integrity is the most important factor at play here.
Yeah, it is. And look, I'm actually, there's a part of me that's actually rooting for him because of what happened to him in the draft. So I hope this isn't something that counts as a strike against him, and that it doesn't hurt his opportunity there in Cleveland with the Browns. Moving on to Zach Edey here. He's facing a misdemeanor charge. His is a little more serious. Reckless driving. He did 101 as well in a 55. This apparently happened on May 1st in Indiana. Tippecanoe County, Indiana, by the way. Probable cause affidavit. Cop observed
What's going on with the Grizzlies, man?
Yeah, I know. Initial court hearing is scheduled for Monday for Zach Edey, who was going too fast. All right, we're coming back. Lots more to do on the show. Mark Walter has bought the Los Angeles Lakers. What does it mean for the team going forward? It might mean a lot more than you think. That's next. Odds and Ends wraps it up in 10 minutes. Interesting note from the College Baseball World Series to discuss. And a signing in the NFL I want to talk about as well. Sam Yarnell. I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of surprised when I saw the headline flash across my phone yesterday afternoon as I was getting ready for my afternoon nap. Yes, I take afternoon naps. That the Lakers had been sold, Jeannie Buss selling the franchise, or selling the majority stake in the franchise, $10 billion with a B, $10 billion to the same man who owns the Los Angeles Lakers, or owns the majority stake in the Los Angeles Lakers, that being Mark Walters, or Mark Walter, I should say. So, I mean, look, this is that era of sports, and you're going to see more of this. And it started with John Henry, really, if you think about it. Guys owning more than one franchise and guys owning conglomerates. Stan Kroenke is another example of this, even before John Henry. You think of Stan Kroenke and sort of, the empire that he has built. And you're going to see more and more of this, of people scooping up teams. And look, you're never going to lose your money buying a major league sports team these days. And Mark Walter, he's got part of the Women's Professional Hockey League. He's got a piece of everything. So, I mean, hats off to him. But I think the more important question here, Sam, is what does it ultimately mean for the Los Angeles Lakers? And if you look at what what Walter has done and what TWG has done, with the Los Angeles Dodgers, I think it gives you a pretty good indication that, the Lakers could go into a spending mode and not really care about first tier, second apron, all of these different things that, if you watch the way the Dodgers have been willing to spend, now they've done some things with some deferred money, which I don't think you can get away with in the NBA. They're doing some different things and have gotten creative, but the bottom line is they're willing to spend money. And now he's going to take that mentality over to the Los Angeles Lakers.
Yeah, I won't bore you with the details of the second apron, but it's a whole lot more than just money that you forego if you enter that. No one is going to enter it. We have seen very clearly from the NBA that everybody's scared of it. No one's going to touch it. What it means is more money going into training facilities and other things that will attract free agents and brand deals and stuff like that to bring things to the arena and bring things to the players that other organizations don't have, and that's great. The thing that shocked me about all this was the numbers and how they all worked out. You have a franchise in the Lakers. Now I get it. It's the Los Angeles Lakers. It's one of the most historic franchises in the NBA. Nevertheless, a franchise that's looking at half a decade since they won the title, right? You're selling them for $10 billion 2 calendar years after a franchise, let's be frank, equally, if not more, as historic, who has won a championship more recently, sold for $6.1 billion? To me, the math just doesn't work out. And again, Jason's exactly right when he says that you cannot go wrong investing in a sports team. It's like the stock market, right? The price only goes up in history. But I'm left scratching my head at the economics around how somebody could evaluate the Los Angeles Lakers being 1.75 times as valuable as the Boston Celtics 2 years later. I don't really get it.
Well, the market matters, and the market matters. Boston versus Los Angeles is a big difference.
That is true. And I mean, look at how much the Clippers are evaluated at.
Right.
That is a testament to exactly that. I don't know, man. I just think that this is very interesting.
The
economics of professional sports, like, we're headed down a dangerous trail.
I don't
here.
know if it's dangerous. I mean, hell, man, if you got the money, I don't know why you'd invest anywhere else but a pro sports team. I mean, look, the Rays principal owner Stu Sternberg is in advanced talks right now to sell the franchise to a guy from Jacksonville. This Patrick Zalupski, I think is his name. And Sternberg bought the Rays in 2004 for $200 million. You know how much the team is valued at now? And they're playing at Steinbrenner Field. They don't even have a stadium. They're valued at $1.7 billion.
Yeah,
it's
so with
crazy.
The Rays thing, take it with a grain of salt, because the people who are buying it already have a stadium planned to put them at.
Sure.
That they're like financing themselves. And the Rays thing is interesting because this owner also has gotten all the way to the finish line with these agreements before and then walked out of the meeting room. So I don't know if the Rays are going to be sold, but you're right. $1.7 billion for the Tampa Bay Rays.
The Tampa Bay Rays.
Again, who played in a championship series as recently as the Los Angeles Lakers. Is wild. It's crazy for the economics around Big Four sports in North America right now.
I'm just looking how much the Florida Panthers are valued. Here's what's crazy. And the Florida
That's probably
Panthers,
a lot.
no, but you want to laugh? The Florida Panthers are are worth less than the Rays.
That's crazy.
They went back to back. They're worth $1.35 billion.
Well, if anybody has
they were purchased in 2013 for $160 million, but still, I mean, that's kind of like, wow.
I mean, that's
a great investment. Don't get me wrong. It's a great investment.
9xing your value in 12 years.
Yes. But how are they not worth more than the Tampa Bay Rays that have won nothing? And their stadium's got a hole in the top. We're coming back with the odds and ends. All right. Just about time to put the wraps on this baby for a Thursday. Tomorrow on the show, a recap of Game 6 of the NBA Finals, where we'll be talking about a Oklahoma City Thunder NBA title, or will we be getting ready to preview a Game 7 in OKC? We'll see how it all goes. Robert Lital will be here from Black Sports Online. Talk about the top stories of the week. Tino Patino will join us as well to preview this week's NASCAR race. I also want to see what he has to say about Richard Petty. The king has spoken. He doesn't like Shane Van Gisbergen getting a spot in the playoffs. Neither do I. Richard Petty and I agree on something. All of that on tomorrow's show. So if you haven't done so yet, I don't know what you're waiting for. Make sure to subscribe to the Sports Wrap with Jason Page podcast. It's available on all your favorite podcasting platforms, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube Podcasts. Anywhere you get a podcast, you can go and get the show. You can also watch us on over 220 affiliates around the country and in Canada. We love you, Canada. I know you're licking your wounds from that Edmonton Oilers loss in the Stanley Cup. We're there with you. At least I am. Sam may not be, but I'm there with you, licking your wounds. So if you are a fan of the show and you want to watch the show commercial-free Monday through Friday, you can do so on the Sports Wrap with Jason Page YouTube channel. Go over to YouTube, subscribe. It's free. The show is there every afternoon. A little pro tip, it's there before you could actually see it on television. So if you want to watch us every day, the first place to catch it is actually on YouTube, and then it's available on TV, usually just after that. Different markets all over America. All right, that does it for that part of the show. Now, without any further delay, ladies and gentlemen, time for some odds and ends. Odds and ends, Sam Yarnell. Coastal Carolina continues to be. Can you still be a Cinderella story if you won the College World Series 8 years ago? Can you still be a Cinderella story?
You could, but they're not. Coastal Carolina is a team that's been good at college baseball for decades at this point. You talk about the level of major league talent that's come through there. I mean, go all the way back to the 90s when you're talking about guys coming out of Coastal Carolina and being effective. This is a team, or a school, I should say, that really cares about their baseball, and coming out of the Sun Belt Conference, they always seem to get it done. It truly is incredible how random of a baseball powerhouse you can get. But it's actually, baseball's funny in that way, right? Because you get a bunch of random schools that are powerhouses. In Division II, there's a powerhouse. The University of Tampa, right? They crank out major leaguers. Stetson is a powerhouse in Division I baseball. They crank out major leaguers. Weird schools in the sport of baseball, and it's one of the things that makes college baseball so amazing. Can just be so talented at one sport.
Well, it'll be Coastal Carolina and LSU going at it. That's what we have to look forward to.
Oh my gosh, heartbreak for Arkansas on Wednesday night, Jason. If you didn't see it,
I didn't.
They make a not even a bad play, just not the best play, and knock down a lead runner, and then. Long story short, ball gets hit to left. Left fielder tries to catch the ball with his shoulder. I don't know what he was doing there. It was a whole debacle for Arkansas. They had the game in the bag, and then LSU came.
I just saw the highlight.
Back.
Yeah, I just saw the highlight.
Yeah, but here's the thing, man. I'm not going to bet against Coastal Carolina in a day and age where they've won 26 straight games. I think their last loss was April 22nd. This is the hottest team in the country right now, Jason. And if you're betting against them, you're as good as crazy, because the Coastal Carolina Chanticleers are the real deal, and they're hotter than a $2 pistol right now.
Oh, there you go. Hotter than a $2 pistol. They are plus 154 right now to win the College World Series. LSU minus 192 if you are putting odds on such things.
I'll take Coastal.
All right. There's other news from the NFL aside from Shedeur Sanders speeding around. Jair Alexander is joining the Ravens. He will join that team after being let go by the Green Bay Packers. I love the move for the Ravens.
Yeah, I mean, Lamar Jackson didn't have enough all-pros around him already for Ravens fans to justify the fact that he can't perform in the playoffs year in and year out. So why not add another, right? Yeah, let's do it. Do I think it'll make a difference? No. Do I think they will be a great regular season team? Yes, I would bet on them against my own Buffalo Bills in week 1. Do I think they will make any noise in the playoffs? Not a single chance.
Still betting against them, huh?
Not during the regular season.
But in the postseason. Still betting against them.
Yeah, probably.
Ravens to win the Super Bowl, by the way, are plus 700. The Bills to win the Super Bowl are also plus 700. The Chiefs are plus 750. The Eagles are plus 750, followed by the Lions at plus 1,000. Are you okay? Are you having a seizure?
The Chiefs run, don't walk to bet the Kansas City Chiefs to win the Super Bowl. Oh my gosh.
Really?
Do not. Yes.
Am I talking to the? Is this
not the favorites to win the Super Bowl?
Has somebody possessed the Sam Yarnell I know?
No. I mean, my gosh, it's the best team in football by far. They've been at 3 straight. What are we doing here?
Wow.
Bet the Chiefs to win the Super Bowl. I'll see you in February. Have a great fall.
Wow. Sam Yarnell, ladies and gentlemen. Next, he's going to be begging us to have Matt Verderam on the show. Jeez. I'll give you his phone number. You can call him. You'll be waiting by the phone for your call. Talk Chiefs. Let's go. Lions plus 1,000. The Rams plus 1,900. It's going to do it for us. Odds and ends. We'll see you tomorrow. I got nothing. Bye-bye.